Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sax Overtalks, episode 3. I hope you all are doing so well and happy to have you here. I'm pretty excited for this episode. It's going to be like an introduction, like you guys get to know me a little bit. That way, maybe you guys can relate to me a little more in some other conversations that we have in the future. Um, we can kind of gauge each other's personalities in that way. So I think it'd be fun to do. So, I went and I found 20 questions, some pretty solid questions on Get to Know Me. It was written on an article. The only name I could see was Tom's. It was on medium.com. But I know he put together a good list, and I thought it would be fun to answer early on and just do a nice introduction. And maybe, some years down the line, some of these answers have changed. If I'm still doing this 10 years from now, I could do this again, the same video and see if I change. But um, I guess we'll just jump right in. Question one is if you could have dinner with any fictional character, who would it be and why? And my answer would be Ryosuke Takahashi. He is from Initial D and he drives a FC RX-7, which is watching Initial D and watching him drive it in the show is like 80% of the reason that I bought the car that I did. Um, he's like super smart in the show, and I think it'd be fun to have dinner. Get some good conversation going. Um, I do want to clarify for this episode, I'm voiceovering instead of reading script during the while I play, because the last two videos I was reading the script while I was playing, and it was really hard for me to focus on either one. So I'm gonna do a voiceover instead. Okay, so moving on to question two. What is the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week? Um, I honestly haven't really done any reading this week. I'm not in a good reading habit currently, but I did watch Jay Schlatt's newest weekly Slat video, and he was talking about like finance and stuff, and it was really interesting and it was inspiring. If you guys want to watch it, I'll link it down below. They're pretty short. His weekly Slap channel is certainly one of my favorites. Question three: if you had to delete all but 3 apps from your smartphones, which ones would you keep? So we get to keep 3 apps. This is actually funny. About 3 hours before I wrote this script, I uninstalled Snapchat. No, not Snapchat. I uninstalled Instagram and TikTok from my phone. So I'm going off the social media. My answer, though, I said I would keep YouTube, Discord, and Spotify. All three of them are pretty important and interwoven with my day-to-day life, and I get a lot of benefit out of each of them. And then moving on to question four, says if you could instantly become an expert in something, what would it be? I said automotive mechanics. I love cars, but my knowledge when it comes to the actual mechanical side of things is pretty surface knowledge, surface level. I think it's more than the general public maybe, but not much more than that. Question five says, what's the most unusual but enjoyable hobby you've tried? This one was kind of hard for me to answer because I haven't really tried any unusual hobbies, I wouldn't say. But the hobby that I just enjoy most is cars. I love being around cars. I love helping my friend Cooper with his car, and I love meeting people out who also enjoy cars the same way that I do. It was funny. I actually saw a cool car just yesterday morning. Um, I went to park at the parking garage that I usually park at, and he was there, and I've never, or she, and I've never seen their car there before, you know. And it was a BRZ. It was a first gen BRZ, and it was bagged, and it had really nice wheels. And I was in my FC, so I parked next to it, but I couldn't. They weren't around, so I left a note saying, "Hey, I love your car. It looks so cool," and I signed it like FC owner. And then the next morning when I was going to leave, they were gone, and they had a note back on my car. They wrote back on the note. They were like, "Hey, your Mazda's so awesome. Thanks for the compliment." And they like gave me their snap, and I was like, "Bro, that's so cool. It's so cool to just connect with people in the wild like that." Um, question six says, if you could live in any time period, past or future, when would it be and why? And to be completely honest, despite a lot of the modern day gloom the world seems to be going through, I wouldn't want to change a thing. I wouldn't want to live in a different time period. You know, as difficult and bleak as the world may seem, I really want to stay in this time period because I just feel like there's no better time than now, you know. So I would say I would just stay. What is the most spontaneous thing I've ever done? So I have some money put away in savings, and I found a deal on the car that I currently drive. It was a very good deal. I got it for $6,500. It was a clean title with only 34,000 miles, and it's 36 years old. And so it was a good deal. It was a very good deal, well taken care of. And I was like, I told my dad, I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna go get this and uh, use the money from my savings. And he was like, no, you're not. He's like, you can't. He's like, you're not allowed. I'm not letting you do that. And I kind of just told him, I was like, it's my money. I'm gonna do what I want. And I just went, and my friend drove me. It was 4 hours away. My friend drove me in his Ranger, and then I got to drive it back with him following me, and it was the best 4 hour drive of my life. And it was through like a state forest too, so it was super pretty. That was pretty spontaneous, I'd say. Another question. Question 8 says, if you could only listen to one song for the rest of your life, what would it be? This one is super hard for me. I listen to a lot of music. I cannot pick one. I picked two. I said Panacea by Disaster Piece. It is a very nice piano track, just solo piano. It's from a game called Hyper Light Drifter. I actually have never played Hyper Light Drifter. I've played for like 10 minutes, but I heard the song like 2 years before I ever tried the game. And then I really like, I think I'm going to mispronounce it. I think it's Judith Inan, Ljudet space INNAN, and it's by Storm Corrosion. It is a super ambient track, and it is fantastic. I could listen to it all day. Question 9 is, what is something you've always wanted to learn but haven't gotten around to? And my answer is saxophone. Despite what you may think, my username has nothing to do with saxophones. I've never played a saxophone. I've never played a brass instrument before. But I love listening to saxophones. They're like my favorite to listen to. And I really want to learn one. So I think I'm going to save up for a while and try to get one. Question 10 was, if you had a theme song that played whenever you walked into a room, what would it be? This is the vibe I'm trying to bring. Now, the lyrics are a little sad, okay? But the vibe and the beat is a 20 out of 10. Passion Fruit by Drake. That's the vibe I'm trying to bring to the room when I walk in, you know? All right, question 11. What's a piece of advice you often give but find yourself struggling to follow? Um, I always try to advise people to try and not get hung up on the past and to try to not hold like a grudge or resentment. But if I'm pushed the wrong way and, people start pissing me off, I just get really bitter. I do exactly what I tell people not to do. I'm very bitter. I'm very petty at times. I try not to be. I try to be a pretty level-headed person and not lash out. And I try to let a lot roll off my shoulder, but sometimes I just hit a breaking point. Question 12 says, if you could have any animal, real or mythic, as a pet, what would it be? I'm going to answer both because why not? For a real pet, I would love a raccoon. I mean, they're so cute. They're the cutest little critters. And for a mythic pet, I mean, obviously a dragon. I think that's just badass. You know, dragons are cool. One of my all-time favorite book series was the Inheritance series. It was Aragon. Um, fantastic set of books right there. Question 13 says, what's one invention you can't believe hasn't been made yet? This one, I get these like moments where I'm like, I have a thought like this, but they come and go super quick. So I don't have an answer for it right now. But if I'm sitting here, pretty soon and I come up with just a banger invention, I'll comment it on the video and I'll pin it. So it may be weeks from now. I have no idea. But if you're watching this in like 2 years, there might be one there. Question 14 says, if you could wake up tomorrow with a new skill or quality, what would it be? I said discipline. I think discipline is a fantastic quality that I think I need a lot of work on. Not when it comes to being at my like job or my profession. I'm very disciplined at work, but at home with my own life and stuff, I'm not the most disciplined. Um, I fall behind quite easily, and I'm not productive enough, and that's part of the reason I uninstalled social media yesterday, because I don't need it, and I want to be a lot more intentional with my free time. Question 15 says, what's the most memorable gift you've ever received or given? This wasn't a direct gift to me, but when my aunt passed away, she left me a solid amount of money, with the wish that I got myself a good first car. And I ended up getting a 2011 Subaru Forester, naturally aspirated. It had 165,000 miles when I bought it. That would have been 6 years ago. Now it has 236,000 miles on it, so I've put 70,000 miles on it, and I love it. It has been a fantastic car for so long. Got me all through high school. That car has seen me go through everything. Fantastic all-wheel drive, fantastic ride height, comfortable, quick in the corners. Great car. Fantastic car. Definitely the best gift I think I've ever been given. Question 16 says, if you had to live in a movie, TV show, or book, which one would you choose? Anyone who knows me would know the answer to this super quickly. It's Initial D, 100,000%. That is the greatest anime, the greatest TV show I've ever seen. I rewatch season 1 or stage 1 probably once or twice a month. Love the show. I'm obsessed with it. Please go watch it. It's on YouTube. All the full episodes, dubbed, are on YouTube. Subbed used to be on Crunchyroll. I don't know where you can find sub now. Question 17 says, what's one mystery of the universe you'd want the answer to? This one it's a pretty deep question, but I really like mystery. I like unsolved things, and like you could say that it's proven Bigfoot's not real, but it's technically not solved because it's just a theory. So it's. But like aliens, for example, is a fantastic mystery that I love being a mystery. I love having full faith that they're real, because how could they not be? You know, I love it. But um, I don't really want the answer to that just yet. So I have kind of a silly answer. A mystery that I will never understand. This really made me mad at work a couple days ago. Why in the world is it not mandated for every bathroom stall to have a coat hanger? Why? I hate having to like hold my coat or like stuff it through the handicap rail to hold it up while I'm trying to like sit down. Bro, terrible. Terrible. I don't understand it. That's a mystery I want the answer to. Question 18 is, what is something you've done that you think no one else here has? This is certainly hard, especially because I'm putting this video to the public. This is not like a little room discussion thing. But I may hold the world record for the dumbest way to break your tailbone. That's quite a long story. If you want a video just about that, please leave a comment and let me know. I promise it is a hilarious story. Even if nobody comments, I'll probably make a video about it anyway, because it's a funny story. Question 19 says, if you could see one event from history in person, what would it be? And I think it would be really cool. This kind of goes in with the alien thing. I think it'd be really cool to witness the launch of like the Voyager probes, because they house so much of our culture, at least Americans. I don't know how much NASA worked with international countries for the Voyager probe, but I love that it's like a time capsule of us, our culture, our history, sent out to nothing, sent out into a void that we have no clue about, really, in the grand scheme of things. And it may be discovered a billion years from now, and it's just so cool. And the last question, question 20, says, this is a good last question. It says, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received from someone unexpected? And my answer would be, it's in the past, leave it there. And I know this gets said a lot, and I think it can sort of diminish its value, but if you remind yourself every day and really try to live by the motto of just leaving stuff in the past, I feel like it can dramatically improve your life, because you realize that a lot of things you can roll off your shoulder easier than you thought. But it's not simple. You know, not everything can just be left behind. It's okay to want closure and things. It's okay to, if you're hung up on stuff in the past, and you know you need to figure it out. That's okay. And you can take as much time as you need for that. But anything that's out of your hands entirely, you can do nothing about. I really try to not worry about that kind of thing, you know. But yeah, that's everything for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. If you want to answer any of these in the comments, please feel free. I would love to get some discussions going in the comments. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I will see you all in the fourth episode.